Simnieva says, good luck, Glenn.
Thanks, Jorge. Thanks for hanging out.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, good luck, mate. Give it no less than a full helping of hell on Tozy.
Thanks, Mick.
Watch out
We'll
for
see.
Richard. He looks like an alien at this track.
You're talking about Richard Watson, I think? Yeah. I think you're right. I won't have to really watch out for him because he's going to be in the distance.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, first time I've seen the track and I'm already terrible at it.
I like it. I like the elevation. Run a pretty good number of laps this week, but I wouldn't say that I'm comfortable yet. Missed that apex about half the time. Brake earlier, Glenn. Messed that one up.
About 2 laps of fuel.
Better. Better. I often overdrive that corner too. A little bit timid, but better than the first one.
Checkered flag, checkered flag.
Janeva on YouTube says it has some really tricky corners.
Yeah, and the track conditions.
Janeva on YouTube says nice lap.
Thank you. Yeah, the grip changes pretty significantly too. All right. Hey, Dad. We are at Algarve. I forgot to send you the track info for this one, but I'll do that tonight when we're done here. 7 drivers. I'm driver number 3. And with a minute and a half left in qualifying, I'm qualified number 2 right now. Mick, you're right. Richard is fast. He's fast generally. I don't know that my second lap was a killer, but it was much better than my first. But Richard's a good 6/10, 7/10. Yeah, 7/10, full 7/10 faster. All right, the race setup is active. And what do we have for track conditions? 69 Fahrenheit and clean. So probably why I fared a little bit better on hitting some of those slow apexes. And who else did we pull? I saw Gary in here. So right now, Gary's qualified 3rd. Evan, Willie Marshall, Pierce Sondrup. I think I saw somebody drop there. Yep, looks like Pierce manually disconnected. Don't recognize that name. I hope he's not a tanker. And
Mick Claridge on YouTube
Parr
says hi, Jorge.
All right, I'm using a combination of my setup, my gearing, Christian's iRacing provided setup chassis, and gearing. Oh, I guess I'm using my diff and Christian's gearing.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says go up on pressures, beat him on lap 1 and block him for the whole race.
Sounds like a good plan, Mick.
We've put in plenty of fuel to finish the race.
Don't know that it's realistic.
The estimated SOF is 2,095.
How many laps
Tight field today. Look for opportunity.
do we do here?
Green, green, green. The next car's the leader. Clear on the left.
Probably should have downshifted there. Approaching the corner. The other thing I had to do is make some graphical changes. Jeez, Richard. Let's get rid of the stutter.
Left side. Clear.
Nice, Gary. If that was on purpose. A little bit of warping, a little bit of connection there with Gary. Give him a decent margin. Full tires, Glenn. Whoa, hello. Can't tell if that's Gary's line or a little bit of netcode. Where'd Evan go? Alright, brake sooner. Better, maybe a little bit too soon. Unless it's netcode, that's the second time Gary's run a little bit hot into there. Richard's gone. Nice pace, Richard. Didn't mean to go quite that far out there close to Gary. Ooh, big stutter. Don't do that anymore. Oh, not sure if that was on purpose or not, but it worked. He was close there last time. So it must have been on purpose because he was about in the same spot last time.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, I notice you kept quiet in T1 braking zone there, grinning face.
There was a little bit of a send, but it stuck.
That was your fastest lap of the session. You're back in second.
Gotta work on that exit.
Left side. Clear. New fastest lap for you.
That was better.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, do you get a slowdown if you straddle the T1 T2 sausage curves?
Haven't tested it. Clean track definitely changes your braking marker. Hold it. That was close. I can't believe I missed that shift. Gary's really good on the brakes into there. Gonna have to be aware of that. It's also really fast coming out of here. Let's see what happens. Whoa. Oh, was that contact? Huh. Sorry, Gary. Wasn't exactly the line I intended. Ooh, that one, the rear is released and hooked up there.
The car in P1 just at the fastest lap, 43.882.
Oh, good, Jim. Only 9 seconds. 10 seconds, technically. Forgot to take my fleece sweater off. Good entry, bad exit.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says in through the nose out through the mouth, mate.
Five to go. We're in a podium position.
That was better in and out. I think I found the mark that Gary's been using. The braking mark is that it is into that one.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, can you go over the yellow curbs with your inside wheel, or is it a slowdown?
I don't know, I haven't tested them. I would definitely need to get all the way over them, because getting on the just on the surface on the shoulder definitely spits you out. I'm not going to try it right now.
Kenneth Letza on YouTube says in the 49 I think sausage curbs are death.
You're probably right, Kenneth, although we've got a lot more suspension travel than most, so some of them we actually have an advantage over.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says go for the T1 curb.
I'm rubbish at changing how I drive during a race.
That car is a lap down. Slow car ahead. Car right. Clear.
One of these times I'm going to get this exit wrong and Gary's going to get it right. And I'm going to be in trouble.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says easy track to lose loads of time though with small mistakes.
It does seem that way.
Right side. Clear on the right.
A little bit closer than I planned, William. Sorry about that.
Two left to go. Two to go. We have about 5 laps of fuel left.
Christian's set definitely has plenty of fuel, which I'm thankful for. I didn't do any calculations, so much rather have more than less. Finally, I feel good about that one.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says have a look on board at Richard's fast lap after the race mate.
Roger.
The leader is running 43.928.
You're probably going to tell me he's straddling the T1 sausage curb.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says he don't know mate. Probably not.
Oh right, I forgot you're not in the sim where you're just watching me.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says yeah I have got the track.
I just bought it Sunday myself for the host. Ooh. are you going? Oof. All right, that was hard. And sweaty.
Alright, then checkered flag. Nice run. Solid work.
Janeva on YouTube says I don't see that curb being useful. Too high to manage safely. IMHO.
It's worth checking out.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says well done mate. Good podium. Well done Gary. Richard.
Thanks, Mick.
Janeva on YouTube says grats. Glenn. Really good race.
Thank you. Pretty happy with that one. If for no other reason, I didn't fold under pressure. Got pretty lucky with traffic. Well, I made one real big mistake, was coming through that sector right there when I was way offline and slow. Gary got into me.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says I'm thinking T1 at Barcelona. You can put the inside wheels the other side of the curb.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't feel the contact with Gary, but I definitely saw the notice of the 4X. What was my fastest lap? 144.5.
Okay, the race is over. Bring it on in.
Janeva on YouTube says Aragon and Laguna Seca has some of those too, but I don't think it's the case here.
Is that a different Twitch handle for you, Jorge? All right, so a couple things. First things first, results. How far ahead was Richard? 14 seconds. Nicely done, Richard. Holy cow. Horizon job. All right, and then let's grab my controller.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says by the way hi Bill.
Awesome. Thanks, Mick.
Janeva on YouTube says I'm on YouTube now.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't paying attention to the text-to-speech reader actually identifies that. It doesn't say anything if you're the last chatter on Twitch. It just assumes I remember who it is, which is silly. But I recognize now that you are on YouTube. The software doesn't really have a way to configure that on YouTube the way it does on Twitch.
Janeva on YouTube says but your taking girl is way slower here, isn't it?
I missed that, Jorge. What's way slower here? All right, so this is Richard's fastest lap. Definitely did not go inside the turn one. Up into third there, I think. Okay, that's interesting. This is his fastest lap, right? Lap 15, yep. So I wonder if there's something in that wider line coming around that left-hander. He definitely hugs that much more to the right than I have been.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says that in a scary power ramp, I reckon.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think he short shifted there. Short shifted again. Wow, yeah. Nice, Richard. Very impressive. So that was a 143.5. 143.8. Lap 16 maybe with some traffic.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, yep, that's all diff.
43.5. What was my fastest lap? 144 or something? 144.5. Painful. Painful. But I felt pretty consistent. Ooh, there's a 45.7, maybe some traffic. 44.5, 8.5, 0, 7. Yeah. So maybe I'm getting a little more consistent. I like that. Something I've been thinking about adding to the stream is that there's a way for the UI to flip through the incidents.
Janieva on YouTube says the 44.0 on lap 4 is awesome.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I do feel fairly good about the consistency. I am struggling with setup. I actually went back and forth. I took my baseline setup just for the heck of it. I tried Christian's iRacing setup.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, don't forget you had a total hoe on your butt most of the race.
It's true. Gary was breathing down. The good news is, eventually, I did say I was rubbish about changing the way I drive during a race. I was able to eventually adapt to the clean track and move my braking markers forward a little bit later, I mean. So that made a big difference as far as me staying out of contention with Gary. So happy about that. All right. I think that's it for now. Definitely should have taken that sweater off. All right, let's take a look. Strength of field was 2,095. Richard was crazy high, 38. Gary's
Janieva
up 40.
on YouTube says, thanks for the stream.
My pleasure, Jorge. Thanks for hanging out. Why'd you switch from Twitch to YouTube? Is one better than the other, quality-wise or information-wise? All right, so Richard, 13.7 ahead.
Janieva on YouTube says, I feel like the TTS is slower on YouTube comments than on Twitch. Maybe it's just that I have more latency here.
Could be. I do think the delay on YouTube is a little bit longer. I don't use the ultra low latency setting, even though the UI, when I set up the YouTube stream, keeps yelling at me that it's available. Partly because in order to get the different codec, the VP9, the, I don't know, better, arguably
Janieva
codec.
on YouTube says, so I could read Mick, hee.
There you go. I actually upscale my output to 1440 so that it forces that VP9 codec from YouTube.
Mick Claridge on YouTube says, do me a favor tomorrow, Jorge, and be in front of Togo.
So if I drop down to the ultra low latency setting, I wouldn't be able to stream at that 1440. Probably doesn't really matter, but that's why we are where we are. I did end up with 7 incidents. I had those 3 off tracks, just little ones, and then that contact with Gary. Oh, that's what I should have looked at. I should have looked at that couple of sequences with Gary. He was really fast there coming through that left-hander after the big hill. And I was just off course, off pace, and he got into me. Looks like he had a final 12 incidents, so I lost 0.14 safety and gained 33 driver. How about championship points? 94. Okay. All right, well, I'm not going to complain about T2, especially with Gary on my gearbox all race, so I feel pretty good about that. I probably should have gone back and looked at that overtake of Gary into T1. It was definitely a little bit of ascent. I came from way back. He definitely saw me coming.
Janieva on YouTube says, Richard will have to do that, Mick. He's really fast, much faster than me on the session we shared this morning.
But he saw me coming and gave me room, and I made it stick. So it wasn't like it was a terrible dive bomb, but thanks, Gary. And then, of course, it was just a matter of finding the right braking markers and staying ahead of him. All right, Mick, Jorge, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. You liven up the race. I should have dropped into Discord. I forgot all about that. Just got distracted. But all right, thanks, Dad, for watching. I will see you next time.